everything a novice evil needs to know. First of all, it admired the center of its power, the dungeon heart. This, if possible, should never be broken, as that would lead to an inglorious and permanent end to the definitely wanting to avoid this at all costs evil. Naturally, the most important resource for any evil genius was gold. One can make the best things out of the glittering metal, and nary a creature was going to let the absolute evil hire it and push it around without a coin or two. Sad, I know, but that's the way the cold, hard capitalist world of evil works. Although a little gold could also be stored in the dungeon heart, the little snots, the strange name giving evil's workers, had to travel long distances to do so. It made much more sense to build a treasury nearby. The fast-learning evil immediately began doing so. Sometimes the bored evil's little snots didn't work quickly enough. That was the time to give them a hearty slap with the hand of terror. Naturally, this had to be done immediately. The calculating evil threw a cagey glance at its population limits. These were divided into little snots and creatures. As opposed to creatures, little snots did not have to be hired separately, but were always regenerated up to the maximum limit. And so it was that the massacring evil didn't have to worry if one of these miserable creatures died. It simply had to wait for the next one. At the same time, unfortunately, creatures were a little more demanding than the miserable little snots. A hideout would have to be researched before creatures such as goblins and orcs could be hired. As loyal as the little snots were, they were unable to fight and took to their heels in panicked flight at the first sight of an enemy. Sighing, the unscrupulous evil set about providing a hideout.
De potje klaar is boven van mij. Kijk even.
Ja, ja, is goed. Ja, goed. Maak die niet research.
Ja, ik moet er zijn voordat de motor de elektricien is.
Ik zal dit wel eerst even uit moeten graven, denk ik. Sneller graven, jullie, kom. jullie krijgen gewoon klappen. Ah, een hamertje kut. Researcher, oké. Daar zit zo. De bediening is wel even wennen.
Ja?
Ja, daar wel. Als je het eenmaal een deur hebt, met de panelen en zo. Nou. Oh. Krietjes inhuren.
The army craving evil had hired a creature which would from now on do its dirty work. However, each creature consumed a population point. Fortunately, these could be increased just like the... Should it become necessary to recover a population point, the maliciously grinning evil could always use the egress located at its dungeon heart. Simply toss the creature onto it, a little pull of the lever, and... oh, whoops. Well, there it goes. These creatures were pretty spoiled. Not only did horde creatures demand their own bunks, they also wanted something to eat. Otherwise, they would soon refuse to do any work whatsoever and go on strike. The deeply sighing evil had no other choice than to build his creatures a gobbler farm to satisfy their hunger.
Dan pak ik hem straks wel uit. Bij straks of zeg je, pak ik dit niet. Ja, best is ook een eind. Ja, altijd wat chillen. Ja. Ja, dit is de campagne die we aan het doen zijn.
Nou, dit is de torchel, zeg maar.
Ah, oké.
Oh, kalkoenen. Maar ik doe eerst dit even vergroten. Zo. Even kijken, dan hier weer natuurlijk. Kobbler.
Excuse Bandit.
Kijk, hup, kalkoenen.
Excellent work. The gobbler farm was now ready. Later, the creatures would also demand other things, but for now, they were satisfied. The fast-learning evil had mastered the first tutorial with flying colors. Excellent work.
Nou, dit was de eerste tutorial. Oké. Op naar de volgende dan.
Evil evilness. The fast-learning evil quickly set about sending its creatures into the overworld. Dungeon basics. The newcomer evil should learn the basics of dungeon management. Evil evilness. The fast-learning...
Dat zelfs een torchel kunnen in co-op doen.
fast-learning evil had begun the second tutorial. It now more or less knew what it had to do to build a dungeon. Now it would turn to the overworld, where it would sow chaos and destruction. Up there waited a Isle of Good, which just begged to be destroyed. The impatient evil got right down to destroying. Before the overworld could be destroyed, a number of creatures would first have to be brought there. The Hand of Terror greedily reached out to grab some.
Oh, daar slaan. Pick up. Hand of Terror. Oh, dat werkt dus zo. Ah, zo pak ik ze op mijn kruisje.
First, creatures ventured out into the overworld. The destruction-craving evil could hardly wait to transform all those unbearably rich colors into 50 shades of gray. The drooling evil did not have the omnipotence in the overworld it was used to in the dungeon. Here, it had to direct its creatures the old-fashioned way, with orders.
Geef ik die? Oh, oké. Meeblokje.
Ah, the Isle of Good had been destroyed. To the ground. This not only made for a more pleasant ambiance, but also produced some lovely evilness, which could be used for research. The researching evil quickly set about spending its evilness. The sinuous evil had researched the Nagas. These snake-like creatures were excellent healers and a good addition to the dungeon. The fantastic evil had understood the basics of the overworld and the advantages of evilness in the blink of an eye. Not that those were difficult concepts, but hey, you take what you can get, so good work.
De volgende.
Wat ik nou toen ben. Oh, ik ben dit.
The knowledge-thirsty evil obviously couldn't get enough of these crazy tutorials. All right then, let's improve our knowledge of the dungeon. The Absolute Evil's creatures gathered experience from battles over the course of time, and thus reached new levels. This was to be welcomed, as higher-level creatures were much more powerful. Unfortunately, the creatures also became harder to please as their levels increased, and had the impudence to demand new things. Unbelievable! Well, that borders on treason. Horde creatures, for example, would later demand beer that they themselves produced in the brewery. but the brewery was still a long way off, as the annoyed evil's little snots had once again proved their lack of intelligence and hadn't built any workplaces in the dungeon. Toolboxes would later be needed for the brewery. These were produced by little snots at workplaces in the workshop. Sighing, the once again disappointed by its workers' evil, set about building the workplace.
Ik ben de deken, hè? Niet van Luna. Nee, die deken is van Bandit.
The little snots willingly set to work producing toolboxes with a stupid grin on their faces. These were needed to build the workplace in the brewery. A cast iron brewing kettle made out of toolboxes? Computer game logic. The not particularly known for its patience evil patiently waited for enough toolboxes to be available.
Droplul ben jij ook. Oh, echt hè? Waar heb ik mijn fucking noobies, man? Heel die sukkels, jongen. Oh man, man, man. Meestal als je dood is, vast waar ik meestal te schieten.
Solwerk?
Mhm.
The splendid evil had finally produced enough toolboxes by waiting in boredom. It quickly set about building the brewing kettle.
Nou, oh, brewing kettle. Okay. Die. The brewing kettle stood proudly, and the diligent little snots went directly to work producing the delicious brew, so that the horde creatures could soon start knocking it back. All that was missing was someone playing some good old-fashioned folk music. Then again, maybe not. Always makes my ears bleed. But now for something completely different, as the hard-working evil now had access to the lecture hall. There, additions to normal research in the form of scrolls could be made for small amounts of gold, time, and evilness. The always slathering for something new evil quickly began to try them out.
It's payday. Excellent choice. Very interesting. I would have researched that too.
Is dat niet goed? Mooi. Research. 3 scroll. Oh. Oké. Nog niet goed?
Het lijkt geen slaapplaats. Geen slaap. Pak hem even terug.
Your little snots had dug up some Realmforge employees. They had been hiding there from the Goldmaster deadline. They look rather upset. Splendid work. The good-humored evil had not only satisfied its alcoholic creatures, but at the same time learned more about research. It now considered itself well equipped to begin converting the lessons learned into evil, nasty deeds.
Hier heb ik een kleine bal. Legendary. Aye.
And now it's time for a good book. I still have this comic, and if I were to make myself a drink, I could... Oh, wait. You're here? What? I thought we'd done all the tutorials. What do you mean the menu offers a 4th tutorial? But I don't have any more documents for that. I'd love to work with professionals just once. Those boneheads at Realmforge can't even get the main menu right. They're probably busy building the Berlin airport. Well, since you're already here, we can... Oh, crap. Third person. Well, since the already arrived evil was already there, you'll probably forget that drink. The keeping the narrator from his hard-earned drink and his lovely marbled comic book evil commenced yet another tutorial. In this one, it would, learn something about, traps and spells, like, how to make and use them. It was a pretty, free-form tutorial, as if someone had just made it up really quickly. It was about defending the dungeon against attacking heroes. A few traps had already been placed. These were ready to make life difficult for every hero that approached them. Some others were manually triggered by a blow from the hand of terror. Here, timing was everything. The Arcanium already held a lot of mana ready to be used for powerful spells. A suspicious trampling of heavy boots and clanging of armor was heard in the dungeon. Soon, the first heroes would enter the dungeon. There are enemies in your dungeon. There are enemies in your dungeon.
Oh, coming up. Yeah, yeah.
Your dungeon heart is under attack.
Dat slaat bijna. Als ik een aantal eieren
There are enemies in your dungeon. Enemies have entered the dungeon.
Oh, die stond nog op.
Payday. Enemies have entered the dungeon. All right, excellent work. The last hero had been fended off. The tutorial was finished. Finally, I can get back to my gin and super. Well done. So, now it's time you turn to other things. Things that don't stop me from drinking and from reading my comic.
Wat Tiel?
Was dat tutorial?
Ja, die heb ik nou gehad.
bezig geweest.
Ja.
The shadow of absolute evil. The shadow of absolute evil had crossed the sea and now sought the chosen target. A dark elf named Talia.
Ik ga even een boterhammetje eten.
Een spel wat je op PlayStation hebt gekocht. Kijk. Zo is gaan streamen.
Ja, eerst nog even anteten.
Oh ja. Oh, moeder heeft nou mijn telefoon, dus als je erin begint dan
Oké.
je vraagt eigenlijk af waar je aan het spelen bent.
Ah, dus is je gebied al.
Huh? Dat is een bot die zegt wanneer er iemand meekijkt en hoeveel kijkers dat hij heeft.
Maar dat is nooit zo heel erg veel. Zo, even een boterhammetje. Doe er allemaal bij. Nou, Vintage weg het net het gezien of niet?
Ja, ik zit ondertussen ook. Ah, het ziet er wel leuk uit. Ja.
A long, long time ago. The absolute evil had, in the famous predecessor to this game, subjugated the known world and defeated good. Now, in a world full of blackness and despair, it spent its days sipping cocktails from the skulls of its enemies and forging new plans over a thrilled unicorn kebab. Unfortunately, there wasn't much left to forge. A few odd weapons, the occasional trick played on the little snots. There just wasn't anything left to conquer.
Huh? Ja, maar daar zeker. Doe je nog voor jullie lekker zijn. Ja, is nog.
The great paladin Tanos, hero of the totally Eastern Kingdoms and a repugnantly good fellow. He was visiting the fatiguing library in Twistram with his comrades to see his foster daughter Talia.
Well now, Talia, tell me about your studies. Are you making progress with the writings of the ancient sages?
Yes, dear father. I have thoroughly digested it and have come a step closer to the good. The desire within me to do evil is defeated.
Really? Excellent. I am proud of you, my child. Continue to concentrate on your studies. I must go to Stormbreeze to clear up a few matters. I'll be back soon. In the meantime, my loyal friend Grimly will protect the country. Should anything trouble you, you can turn to him. Isn't that right, Grimly?
Aye, of course, Janos. I'll keep an eye on the damned elf. I mean, your daughter. You can count on me.
Then I'll see you soon, my friends. May the goddess watch over you, and the light burn eternal.
Bon voyage, dear father. I'll make you so proud of me. Who does good is good.
Yuck. Disgusting phrases like that always leave such a nasty taste in my mouth. These abnormally good heroes, on the other hand, had no inkling of the malignity gathered to the south. One moment a herd of sheep was peacefully grazing, and the next moment, whomp! With a fulminant explosive effect that ate up half our special effects budget, the shadow entered the world. His target, a dark elf caught between good and evil, was very close. As the shadow of the unspeakably evil moved through the world, all around it died. Plants withered. Animals perished. Sort of like a picnic with my family. The shadow of the far-off evil found itself very, very close to Twistram. It could practically feel its target's presence.
Take these lanterns, men, and let the light of the goddess shine. For the night is dark and full of terrors. And there's a pile of horse poo around here somewhere. I trod in it earlier. For the darkness! I mean, for the light! Sorry, I'm still in training.
Yes, well, that is somewhat suboptimal. Naturally, the shadow of the almighty evil was an incredibly powerful creature. But, well, light was a bit of an issue. It would certainly be wise to stay out of the lantern light. The shadow reached the entrance to Twistram. Fortunately, this one was not closed, but it was brightly lit. Luckily, there was an unfortunate guard on patrol that the shadow was able to possess, thanks to its incredible powers. As long as it wasn't in the light.
What was that? I think there was something wrong with that last beer.
Unfortunately, the shadow's possession only lasted a short while before the guard was able to free himself. Still, it was long enough to get past the gate. The shadow's target was close. So close. Talia, the Dark Elf. Soon she would fight on the side of evil.
May the goddess be with you, my friends. It will soon be time to open the orphanage in the fatiguing library. Come to the big square and join in the festivities.
Well, I don't know.
I had actually kind of planned to spend the evening in the bathhouse.
Friends, this orphanage is very important to my father. Tanos, you know, the mighty paladin, the one you really don't want to offend.
Yeah, all right, we'd love to come.
Excellent! May the light of the goddess shine upon you, and let us experience this exhilarating spectacle in the big square together. Follow me, my friends, for evil, the light, I mean. Keep the light burning bright, for the night is dark and full of terrors or errors or something like that.
Mom. Mom.
Zo.
Mom.
Hoort ze niet.
Nou. Zet Holland aan. Mam. Eens komen kijken. Ik lig te slapen.
Stop holding the lantern in my face like that, boy.
Ik ga even een hokje doen.
King of the Dwarf.
Ik zou best even een hokje doen. Ik ben best wel moe. Ik mag gewoon slapen. Dan ben ik op zo'n beestje over toe. Best over terug doen, straks even knuffelen, goed?
Enough chit-chat, men. You stay here and secure the area. I have to go check my invention. Stay alert. I can feel something evil lurking in the area. And it's not just that damn pointy-eared... I mean, that elf.
After this cliched monologue, Grimly disappeared into the darkness. The impatient evil shadow set off again. In the distance, one could hear the unbearably good bells of a church. They must be marking the opening of the orphanage in the fatiguing library. Heroes, with lanterns, began to stream in that direction. The crossing on a red signal evil shadow swore, or would have, if it had a mouth, and tried to avoid the lanterns as much as possible.
Ah, Himo-chan.
My dear friends, we are gathered here to open this orphanage in the fatiguing library for our goddess. And in the name of my father, Tanos, I'm glad to see so many of you here of your own free will.
Bijna.
Finally, the time had come, and the shadow of the passes in the slow lane evil was within range of Talia, the dark elf. The time had come for it to use its incredible powers to possess her for a short time.
I am happy to see us all gathered here today to open. My dear father would be very proud were he with us today. He would be overjoyed to see us give the young and the needy a place to live and thrive. That's why I'm happy to take this orphanage and destroy it utterly, and all of you with it.
What did she say?
Die! I will kill you all! I feel the power within me. Oh, it's over 9,000!
Unimagined powers surfaced in Talia. The black magic of the Dark Elves. She immediately began to unleash these powers of chaos upon the world.
Hey. Koffie.
I'll tear you to pieces.
The Dark Elf raged
nog
through
een trofee.
Twistrom's inexperienced guards. She thereby built up a tremendous
Nog een
inner
trofee.
energy, which she released into the world as a focus beam, while screaming, Kamehameha! Meanwhile, in the fatiguing library, they waited eagerly with coffee and cake for Talia to show up and open the new orphanage. The energy beam hit the cake with a resounding zap and reduced it to ashes. Oh yes, and the rest of the building and everyone inside it as well. The narcissistic evil patted itself on the shoulder for this. Or it would have, but the metal armor always made such a terrible clonking noise when it tried. But then again, that's what little snots are for. Obviously, the Dispatch Shadow had found a perfect vessel in the Dark Elf. Talia had already earned the title of Employee of the Month, with the utter destruction of the fatiguing library, as well as half of Twistram. The destruction of an orphanage and the bombardment of innocent citizens with magic missiles immediately made her the minion-wasting evil's new favorite henchperson. Her evil deeds complete, Talia withdrew into the vaults beneath the ruins of the fatiguing library. There, between the slaughterhouse and Mad Archbishop Lazarus's apartments, she prepared to create something powerful in the name of the absolutely ultimately evil. A dungeon heart, the cornerstone of any dungeon's power. Far away, Paladin of Light and Talia's former mentor, Tanos, was on his way to the Empire's capital of Stormbreeze. Naive and trusting as he was whistling cheerfully to himself, with no inkling of his foster daughter's dark deeds. Though he was aware that as a dark elf, she always had a core of evil in her. He had hoped to defeat it through religious indoctrination with ancient mad writings. Well, old bean, you thought wrong. The shadow of absolute evil, Twistram in ruins. Talia, the Dark Elf, had turned to evil and laid the fatiguing library in ruins. Now she began to build a small power base in its vaults, her first dungeon. Twistram looked like the leftovers from a heavy metal.
What? What have I done? Oh no! I've fallen to evil again. Father will be beside himself. He was right when he said, you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Although, in a way, it was fun to be
Volgens mij is hij een beetje laatst van hoe noemde dat? Schizofrenie of zoiets.
Showing those nasty goody two shoes where
De
the
puk, hè?
hammer hangs.
Dan praat ze weer goed, dan praat ze weer
down
kwaad.
at me anyway. My revenge will be terrible.
While Talia was delivering a typical villainous monologue, something happened around her. From the depths arose a pulsating crystal, filled with the magic-savvy evil's power. A dungeon heart. Not to be confused with those dungeon hearts from other games. We don't want to be sued again.
Hello, greetings. What seems to be your boggle?
Secret mental messages were exchanged between Talia and the mentally savvy evil's crystal. We could explain this in detail at this point, but that would require a 3-hour monologue on my part, and I am definitely not being paid enough for that.
Right then. I will make these people suffer for mocking me. Father's henchmen never liked me anyway, and always insulted me, calling me pointy-eared. It's time for my well-deserved revenge!
The game logic internalizing evil had given Talia an assignment. Out there on the surface were shamelessly good places in urgent need of destruction.
Nah, no problem. I'll take care of it. I and an evil army.
Naturally, the strategically well-versed evil did not send its new general into battle alone. a dungeon had to be built, and creatures hired to provide her with a powerful army. Of course, the sophisticatedly thinking evil already knew which way the wind blew in a dungeon. However, should it be hit by short-term memory loss, it could effortlessly look up things in the fabulous almanac. The grandiose evil's helpers had not been idle. Well, they hadn't exhausted themselves either, but anyway, there were now some research projects the researching evil could pursue. The new improved research menu, TM, was now available. The new improved research menu, TM, opened and gave an overview of currently available technologies. At the moment, the selection was still limited. But that would change. After all, this evil crusade had only just begun.
Kopske. Mijn half troepel. Ik ben even de bus.
Payday.
Yo.
Spiders have spread throughout the underground.
Oh, hier. Die doet niks meer. En dan doen wij daar zo. Ben nu. Dus kunnen we wel groter maken en dan kan daar je kalkoen ding in. Doe hier de kalkoen ding in. Ja, dat is
Dus
goed.
daar ben ik weg.
Hey. Zo, hier de kalkoen ding. Oké, dan is het maar net of dat Thanksgiving is.
Ik kan mijn spul echt. Hij moet een fluweel kussentje vol neerleggen daar.
Dat is wel wat cool, hoor.
Dat is ook lekker zeg licht.
Ook kan het dan niet door. Alle kussentjes.
Ik kom net in het potje en ze wil me al gelijk wegstemmen. Zielig.
Ja, dat is wel heel zinnig. Waar komt de kaart? Ik heb genoeg gehad.
Je bent weggestemd uit de match. Oh, we zijn een zielige spelers, zeg. Weet ik veel. Ik weet zeker, ik zie het wel beter als,
de
als
key
iemand
van
die,
de
daar, die daarin zit, weet ik wel zeker. Ja. Ja.
Hij wel een kussentje.
Huh? Wat?
Ik krijg wel zo'n kussen.
Payday.
Je kunt ook bij jou geven. Dat is lekker zacht als kapsel.
Oh nee, die zijn zo vol.
Evil will triumph!
Oh ja.
De 2 rollen.
Ja. Oh.
Hij wel een kussentje.
wilde wel eens weten waar dat ding, waar de uitgang zit. Ah, nee, hier. Hoe zit hier de uitgang?
Hij wil die DJ Weshi weer weg hebben.
What?
Meestal speel ik met andere spelers. Maar...
Blinding beams of light met the dauntless evil's creatures. They briefly squinted at the disgusting brightness. Finally, they grinned, satisfied. At last, they were able to carry the battle to the good people and were not limited to protecting themselves in a dungeon, as is the case with other representatives of the genre.
Follow me, sons of Rohan.
What is going on here? I feel a disturbance in the force.
The deeds of the conspicuous evil and its henchmen had not gone unnoticed. As a matter of fact, even a blind man could see the destruction they left behind them. As idiotic heroes do, they sent out a small patrol to scout the area.
Move out, men. Have a look around and report back to me. While I would love to accompany you myself, I'm currently teaching myself to play the ukulele.
Huh?
Command me. Showed him.
Kom ik hier? Oh, via hier ga ik kunnen. Terug dan.
The armies of evil reached one of those disgustingly good places that had survived the destruction of Twistram. The ice-cold hand, I mean evil, would deal with it immediately.
And stay down!
The little town of Good was destroyed and turned into a hotbed of evilness. Cracks formed on the surface, and something, yes, evil, rose from the depths. This evilness, in a practical spherical form, was the sweet lifeblood which flowed through the personified evil's veins. It stimulated the armies of evil and swelled their power.
All this lofty blah blah without any impact on the game aside, it was another resource primarily or exclusively used for more powerful research. Delicious evilness flowed into the dungeon heart and filled it with power. New research was thus made available, which would help the dungeon to even greater power. The impatient evil immediately began to research something. Spiders have spread throughout the underground.
Oh. Deed ook alweer.
Wasn't that the Staggering Pony Tavern? By the goddess, I won't be getting any more roast pork there.
Zo. Mag niet binnen? Hier ergens spinnetjes. Onder die zee. Ik zie niks. Oh, hier.
Drop me on the enemy.
Ark heeft weer een update.
Ja, klopt.
The progress-addicted evil had unlocked some new research and immediately set about trying it out.
Bandit. Babbel. En Bandit? Nee, als
It's payday.
Nee, moet er gewoon een man doen.
Maar daar weg.
Ik ben dan ook met een kanaan hoor, moet je me starten bij een sigaar? Als je een konijn koopt, het is een mannetje moet rammelaar is, moet je het gewoon rammel noemen. Als het een rammelaar is, hè. Moeten we gewoon rammel noemen. Een voedster. Een voedster.
The exploring evil's little snots had discovered a room in the underground.
Ja toch? Ja joh. Wow. Tering juintje.
Enemies have...
Hey, where does this lead? We should take a closer look.
The first heroes had discovered the not-so-well-hidden evil's dungeon and now entered its depths. Of course, the insidious evil had already prepared a despicable reception for them. At least I hope so.
Even if that's not the case, I will kill these ridiculous do-gooders myself. They will pay for mocking me over the years. Wait a minute. What am I saying? These are my friends. How can I plan their deaths?
Talia had chosen an extremely unfavorable time for moral doubts. Luckily, her evil dark elf heritage prevailed. Hey, Talia, you're evil. So act like it.
What? Oh, yeah. Okay. Kill them all!
Oeh, veel goud. Je kunt het een beetje volgen zo, Kai, of niet?
Ik ben zelf heel even bezig, jongen.
Hé, hey, trofee gewonnen. Oeh, nog meer goud.
Spiders have spread throughout the underground.
Woep woep. Kijk, daar midden. Woep woep.
Throw me at the enemy!
It's payday. Your dungeon heart is under attack.
By the goddess of light! What happened here? The whole city is in ruins. I drank a beer right over there just yesterday.
Kijk, als ik een pak heb voor speciale dienen. Wees wel lang een kwetsel, maar dan gaan we niks selecteren.
Enemies have entered the dungeon.
Ja.
Destroy the good! Ouch! Evil is unstoppable! Evil will triumph!
Hup, die spinnen kapot. Zo, ja.
Yes! Hebben ze.
Mooi.
Net op het nippertje bom. Ja. Ah, iemand heeft een poppetje ingepikt.
Your creatures have inadvertently dug into a dragon's nest. Your little snots have uncovered a dragon's nest.
Iemand heeft mijn fuse ingepinkt. Oh. Dan ga ik wel eens tegen het termietje. De terrormiet. Hé, trouwens, Beuf.
Ja.
Was het fijn met de rustdeken of niet?
Ach.
Oh
Ik wil het ook
no,
nog meer aan
the
je
studio burned down. And I was going to come here
Een pakje
tonight with
vol op mijn
Pilates.
handen. Juist. Kutpleursteken.
Ja, van wie heb ik dat nou? Huh?
Algra zeker.
Nee.
Ah. Wie dan?
Enemies have entered the
weet van
dungeon.
niemand.
Huh?
Ze vertelde mij dat jullie lekker heerlijk hebben lopen knuffelen met op het
Time to die.
Ja, wauw. Geweldig.
Your dungeon heart is under attack. It's payday. A room has been excavated in the underground.
taking me? Good will fall.
Ben je ook geweest?
Yo. Schapen.
Payday.
Huh? The armies of evil here? Damn it all, how did that happen? Time to call out the heavy guns. Right, men, get ready to attack in waves. Excuse me, sir. Wouldn't it make more sense if we attacked all at once? Where's the fun in that? Wave after wave, that's a strategy for real men.
Thanks to the enemy's limited tactical finesse, their destruction was virtually unavoidable. So it was time to decorate for the victory celebration, to get the beer and hire the orc dancers. Okay, maybe not all. I shudder at the thought.
They're going to be child's play. Leave them to me. I mean, hold them back and let them hit you while I deal with them.
The second island of the good was mercilessly overrun by the strategically savvy evil's hordes and turned into an evil island. Soon, more of that exquisite evilness would be bubbling to the surface. Excellent. Even better than in Dungeons 2. Not that I'm out to plug it or its fantastic add-on or anything. I've never done that.
Ja, stond er een paar. kijk zo'n ding zo. Oh, wacht. Respawn.
Wasn't that the Staggering Pony Tavern? By the goddess, I won't be getting any more roast pork there.
There are enemies in your dungeon.
Ik heb van merk heb ik nou glas en lood skin.
Oké.
The dungeon heart is being attacked.
Ja. Oh. Maar ik ben boven, dus ik heb zo'n kopje door het veld in lopen.
Yup.
Oh, sorry, zei dat nou te hard?
Ja, ja.
Ja, deze doet bovenop dus.
Defend the dungeon heart.
Ja, dat weet Dick dat je moet defenden, maar ik weet toch godverdomme niet meer waar die in ingang zit.
Oh ja, boven moeten we net zitten hebben in het spel.
Aha.
Aha. Aha. Aha. Hier.
Maar, kijk.
Vet skin of niet?
Kijk nou zo overheen.
Van de oud hout.
The dungeon heart is being attacked. The dungeon heart is being attacked.
It's all good.
It's payday.
Je zit hier bijna nu te liggen als je zo zit.
Lead me to the battle!
Want volgens mij hebben we nog even nou met het temperatuur. Kan je van ineens middags overdag binnen doen en s'nachts buiten. Dat is een temperatuurverschil van pak een beetje 20 graden. Qua verdediging boven heb ik nog een ander favoriet poppetje.
Ja?
Lysian.
Oké.
Dus als jij als aanvaller doorheen loopt dat je die pinnen niet krijgt, zeg maar, met een gif.
Oh ja.
Ja. Daar heb ik vanavond al aardig wat kills meegemaakt. En als jij zoals aanvaller en verdediging met alle poppetjes een ronde hebt gewonnen, dan heb je weer een trofee.
Oké.
Kom ik hier aan beginnen. Dat smoke weer. Ah, nou gaat het weer lopen. Dodo.
By the goddess of light! What happened here? The whole city is in ruins. I drank a beer right over there just yesterday.
We have conquered the last lair of good. Good is more or less destroyed. Ha! Good thing I switched sides.
In fact, the drooling evil had claimed all the evilness in these lands. Taking the rest of the camps would be a cakewalk, easy as stealing candy from a baby. Candy from a baby? Simple. My arse. Ever tried it? The screaming and crying and fetching their parents and family as reinforcements, and those little beasts bite pretty damn hard. Not that I have any personal experience of it.
The ultimate, chaotic, absolute, whatever evil will be happy. I am. Father is gonna be so angry.
Hoi.
Hey, Lexi.
You really know what you're doing. You
Hoe
wanted
is
to
het
be
zweefteefje
good.
van me?
You had dedicated yourself to the light. Stop and
Ja.
really think about your deeds.
Can you please just stop with the golem thing? We already had too many Lord of the Rings gags in the last 2 games. Enough is enough.
Yeah, exactly. Just shut it, good me.
Zo. Dat wel veel. Horror, actie, thriller. Oh, ik wou bijna zeggen. Wat ik al zeggen, als het een horrorfilm was geweest, hoef je daar niet toe. Je hoeft alleen maar in de spiegel te kijken.
Mm. Mm.
Oké.
Nee. Wat klink je verbaasd? Hij zit op Rainbow Six en ik op Dungeons 3. Ja. Ja. Hoe moet ik het zeggen? Is gewoon een kerker bouwen. Of jij kerker uitgraven. Pupkes maken. En tent aandig. En aanvallen.
It's payday.
Stardew Valley? Nee. Nee. Dat is niks voor mij. Als ik de goeie... Ja. Oké. Ah. Dat is interessant.
Ja, ik zou een patent op aanvragen, want dan hebben ze jou gebruikt voor hun spel.
De. Zakhooi.
Werken.
Werken.
Nee.
no, the studio burned down.
Alleen
And
maar
I was going to
trekhoeren,
come here
nee.
tonight for Pilates.
Nee.
Ja, dan moet ik hier wel even uit. Nee, werk is nooit leuk, dat weet je toch. Alleen, je mag
Enemies
met
have
mij
entered the
schieten, Lars.
dungeon.
Alleen bij verdediging moet je voortaan van 1 poppetje afblijven.
Nog ergens
Legion.
kamp zijn.
Ja, dat is voor mijn favoriete poppetje. Ja. Ja. Wat pikkendief. Wat? Mag je kopen? Oh ja, dat kan ik ook wel eens kopen. Zo. Even kijken, dan moet ik naar winkel pakken. Ja, ik ga gewoon. Oh, oké. Nee. Anders doe ik daar direct wel naar dit potje. Ja, jij krijgt 110% volgens mij en ik 20. Ja. Ja, maar kijk maar. Ik krijg 10% en jij 100%. Dus als ik een boost koop, dan krijg ik ook 100%. Ja.
Dus
Ja.
Troy, Rentje, maar is dat ding dan?
Wat denk je dat je er altijd nog krijgt? Dat is nou mijn favoriete poppetje. Nou, ik heb vandaag wat keeltjes meegemaakt. Ja. Dan heb je allemaal weer je kooi te verbouwen, joh. Dan gaan we weer naar je knaagsteen. Ja. Krijg je dat van een bandit?
Je moet iets
Maar ze komen gegarandeerd via deze kant. Hoppa.
kan hier niks vernietigen.
Oh ja, is goed zo. Ja, is goed. Maar deze keer wil ik blitz. En jij, huh?
Ah, hier zit hij. Ja,
Oh, hey! Not gonna get up.
Waarom staan? Deze gaat al sowieso door mijn naalden heen lopen.
Talia and the destructive
Zijn
Evil's
twee
army
wat
had
twee wat
succeeded in destroying
Ook
Twistrum and the surrounding area. Good no longer existed in this land.
Why? What the hell happened here?
Apparently, not quite all of the good guys were defeated. The dwarven King Grimly, an old drinking buddy of Tanos the Paladin, was just touring the country with his exorbitantly large army to ensure everything was in order. Thank
Heel
God,
even mijn was
the
in de druk
foresighted
gestopt,
evil had
jongens.
provided for this contingency. The dungeon
terug
heart
bij
was
je.
charged with evilness and enough energy to act as a teleporter. But Talia, of course.
Ooh, good. Then All the best, brave warriors, and stop them! Right! I'm out of here.
With a plop, Talia dissipated and disappeared to a faraway and safe place. The rest of the sacrificing evil's creatures looked astonished as their general fled, but only for a moment, as they already found themselves facing an unpleasant army of good.
This is the work of that damn pointy-eared wench. I always warned Thanos that those miserable dark elves couldn't be trusted. Criminals, the lot of them. But enough is enough. I'm going to find that shifty wench and use her ears as bookmarks.
Even. Alles moet alleen nog tegen montage. Ja. Nou, wat gaan we doen? Als broertje schild?
Ja.
Oké. Kan ook.
Eigenlijk wel. Ja, sleds. En dan, ik hoop dat ze dan boven zitten. Dan ga ik via een van de naar beneden zitten. Ja.
Ik heb trouwens ook aardig wat kills gemaakt met Fuse. Nee, en...
Ik hoop zo dat het met begin als
ja. Vrijdag. Nee, vrijdag. Volgens mij vrijdag. Ik weet het gek, want heeft ook deze. Wat dan?
Ben ik weer.
Jo. Zo.
The Gehenna Stones. After leaving the vestiges of Tristram, Talia set out for the Gehenna Stones. They served as seals to keep the demons banished in hell, where Thanos himself had exiled them. Her so-called foster fathers act would soon be undone.
En nou is er meer, en nou is het compleet gehaald. Dat de melk niet in zit.
We vinden van het spelletje.
Ja. Nee, hoe komt dat nou? Ik was gisteren, moest ik gisteren in bed en moest de nacht in. Nee, ik moet kijken of je koud
After her hasty departure, Talia now found herself a few kilometers, or miles, yards, or stone throws, depending on whatever crazy units are used
Nou, het
where
spel
you
waar
are,
ik mee bezig
away.
ben.
She had managed to escape Grimly's forces, even if one or two evil creatures had to die. But hey, that comes
Yeah.
with the job. The incredibly foresighted evil hadn't brought Talia here for nothing. The ancient Gehenna stones were nearby. Tanos once banished some demonic minions to hell and used these ancient magic relics to seal them there. Unfortunately, it was unclear how these seals could be broken.
I was there back in the day when Thanos banished the demons and sealed
letterlijk.
the stones.
Ja,
I
letterlijk
can
vertaald.
open them! But should I really do it? These unearthly beings terrorize the land and... Oh, shut up, good Talia!
So, you know how to open the seal. Excellent. Devious evil is obviously nobody's fool. It all feels like a real plan.
I just have to get through to the seals. Then I can open them. But I need protection from the elemental guardians while I do so.
Okay, that should be doable. Get Talia to the seals. Guard her while she opens them. First,
ieder zijn
however,
ding, hè?
it would definitely be a good idea to build a powerful dungeon in order to be prepared for any heroes stationed in the area.
I'm around Far Cry. Ik ga weer op mijn favoriet.
A Way Out.
Ja, die wouden wij ook gedaan halen.
There were disgustingly good places near the dungeon, which would look much better as islands of evilness instead. Especially since that evilness could be used for new technologies.
What is that unbearable place doing right in front of my dungeon? Disgusting! Creatures, advance! Destroy that thing! Oh, are you sure you want to do that, Talia? Shouldn't we sit down in a circle and talk about it one more time? Are you still here? Honestly, Can't you see? I am busy destroying everything that is good. I don't have time for this dissociative identity order nonsense.
Stop doing the Therese and
Weet je wat,
Jeanette
ik ga nou
thing.
niet als Blitz, ik ga als Fuse. Even lekker lopen kutten met die bolletjes. Ja. Ja, hey. Nou, jij kan. Doe daar geen ash.
Tell me what to do. Ouch! Hasta la vista, baby.
Oké, Beuf, we hebben een makker in ons party zitten.
Kom je nou nappers achter? Nee.
There's something funny going on around here. My knee is itching where I caught that arrow. Men, check it out.
The presence of Talia and the conspicuous Evil's army had not gone undiscovered, and the first miserable heroes were already on their way to the
Weet ik
dungeon.
niet.
Where we will, of course, welcome them appropriately. Move, you lazy dung beetles! Get ready! You always have to be so unfriendly? I mean, really? Can't we just talk about this? I know
Spreek
this
iets in.
really good psychiatrist and...
Spreek iets in naar de piep.
Don't force me to hit myself!
Yes. As our protagonist sank into one of her disputes with herself, the heroes spread across the surface.
Volg de route.
There are enemies in your dungeon.
Everything evil comes from above. Ooh! God, hey!
Zit toch in een andere hoek zaten. Deze bandit. Ja, je hebt toch heel je code lopen verbouwen, hè? Nee, het konijn. Ja, bandit. Ik zal eens even kijken of ik nog een boost kan kopen. Nou. Nee man, ze zijn gesloten. Waarom wel? Heb jij die muesli nog niet op? Staat het niet? Ik kan maar voor 3 dagen kopen. Maar dan ben ik al gelijk bekend door heel mijn dingen nemen. Die muntjes.
Hey.
Nou, dan ga ik even een peukje doen. Dat ik die booster koop en aanzet. Ben ik zo terug.
Dan gaan we een peukje doen.
There are enemies in your dungeon.
For the absolute evil!
Payday. A vortex could now be built. This excellent room makes it possible to create direct access to Hell by means of teleportation, or the gun from Portal, in order to hire funny, or sometimes not so funny, demons. The very curious Evil soon began to build one of these vortexes.
yo, ben ik weg.
Hey.
The first vortex was finished. Here, demons could be hired or resurrected after their inglorious death for a tiny fee of mana.
Mana? But I don't have any mana.
That's true. Yes, but luckily the Gehenna stones produced exactly that. What a wonderful coincidence.
Ja, dat doe je nou al.
There are
Dat
enemies
gaat
in
je
your dungeon.
irriteren. Godverdomme.
Thanos must die.
Oh, waarom heb ik iemand uitgenodigd in de party? Ik word er nog gek van. Oh, net als
Your dungeon heart is under attack.
Wie? Ja. Volgens mij een blank. Weet ik niet.
Ja, een parkeergarage. Goed. Weet dat ze allemaal boven zitten haast?
Your creatures have inadvertently dug into a dragon's nest. Uh-oh, a spider nest has been unearthed. Payday! Defend the dungeon heart.
Death to the heroes! Ouch!
The dungeon heart is being attacked.
Oké, heeft hij last van. Nee, als je nog rustig wil, dan moet Giat even weer in op Playboy kopen. Kan je hem weer nokkie slaan met de hamer. Ja, maar dat kwam ook omdat ik hem gewond schoot, anders was het ook niet eens... Alleen, ik ben nu zo achterlijk. Ik zet hier dingen neer. Want als ze fuse hebben, dan zullen we mee knife. Oh, die doos is ook zo slim.
Enemies have entered the dungeon. Defend the dungeon heart.
Waar wij zitten, kan je alleen maar bij middellandig komen. Laten we deze kant op komen.
Payday. A room has been excavated in the underground.
Sledge toch? Oh nee, je was Havana trouwens. Nee, je was Ash. Je was Ash. Zip, zip.
Enemies have entered the dungeon. Defend the dungeon heart.
Ja, maar ik kan met die derde fuse had ik wel weer eens te pakken. Ik dacht, ik ga gewoon boven gewoon random wat plaatsen. Oh, je bedoelt in die garage. Ja. Ja, maar ik dacht van, aangezien ik fuse ben, dan van boven door die vloer heen. Hè? Hm? We gaan nu bedoelen. Wat ben je toch mooi doen, joh? Papa. Nee, ik heb geen klein. Waar sta ik? Ja, kom op, stem op mij, stem op mij. Ja. Ja. Zit helemaal beneden.
Everything evil comes from above.
It's payday.
Ah!
Oh, het is hostage. Oepsie.
I am the queen of...
Ah, ik kan ook wel andere schade aanbrengen. En dan bedoel ik niet de hostage. Hey, ik heb er 2!
Ow!
Ah, hij zit rechts. Medic zit achter de schuld. Met een mail. Dan rechts.
Delicious evilness dribbled into the thereupon feasting evil's dungeon. This could be immediately sacrificed to the excellent idea of completing 1 or 2 new research projects.
Hey, daar zat hij altijd al. Ah, maar had ik al een wagentje kapot gemaakt.
There are enemies in your dungeon.
Waarom pak jij niet Ella?
Your dungeon heart is under attack.
Turtle. Zoals daar staat lijkt het net een middeltje voor puistjes. Waarom moeten wij weer helemaal op de boze? Waarom moeten wij helemaal op zee op de boze dikking? Oh. Ook even iets nieuws doen. Even boven hier. Ja, hier boven. Helaas.
The homicidal evil had researched the Tinkerer's Cave. This perfidious room was used by the even more perfidious creatures of the Horde to build deadly traps and sturdy doors out of boring old toolboxes. The adventurous evil was keen to try this out right away.
En mijn leuke beltjes.
Payday. Enemies have entered the dungeon.
Wat?
Heb jij een rolletje duct tape voor me?
The dungeon heart is
Nee,
being
om op jouw
attacked.
mond plakken. kan wel, weet niet. Wat stond er maar? De gijzelaars hebben?
The first Tinkerer's Cave was finished and appeared solid enough. Soon the creatures of the Horde would gather here voluntarily or under the threat of beatings to build dangerous traps for unwary heroes.
Mooi.
Een verborgen trofee en een verborgen trofee. Ik zit net op 9, maar ik heb vandaag al 2 open gemaakt. Gewoon een keer proberen. Van die vurige pijlen nog schieten. Staat alles in de fik. Ik heb ook nou een legendary skin op die wapen zitten. Ja. Hij zit vlak, ja, niet helemaal bij de kop in, maar iets lager. Klas.
Oh, wat zullen we eerst even die deuren erin gooien overal.
Ja, hier zitten ze. Wat ik wil. Oh, die Koen ligt op mij gedood op Twitch. Dan niet. Die al de deken lag te slapen, straks in de kweeftest liggen slapen. Je kan niet gaan voor Bandit.
There are enemies in your dungeon.
Kom maar.
It's payday.
The dungeon heart is being attacked.
Laat maar rijden, even gezien. Ja, doe ik straks dicht als ik hem weet gezet. Op eentje nou, wat denk je daarvan? Ja, zonder hostage te raken. Ella. Laatste.
Enemies have entered the dungeon.
be to the enemy!
Your dungeon heart is under attack. It's payday.
Nog steeds? Puls boven. Ik weet niet. Anders pak je Ella. Ze ligt gewoon erachter. Oeh, dat is heel weinig. Zeg dit. Hey Tuts. Dat was echt gewoon...
Enemies have entered the dungeon. The dungeon heart is being attacked.
It's payday.
Netjes.
Zoveel kills heb ik nog nooit gemaakt. Ah, net die laatste twee, drie, die waren echt mazzel. Ze liepen gewoon voor elkaar. Dus ja, dat was een kwestie van vol automatisch schieten. Wat ik nou voor een spel kan doen? Oh, moeder zit een schietspeltje doen op de telefoon.
Huh?
Wat?
Jullie moeder een schietspel? Oké.
Ik weet niet wat het is. Ja, ik moet eerlijk toegeven, Lars. Ik heb de killstand die niet gemaakt, dat was mijn moeder. Ik had alleen de headset op mijn hoofd.
Dat geloof ik helemaal niet. En dan 10 kills opkomen.
Enemies have entered the dungeon.
Je moeder heeft 10 kills. Ja, zeg maar Lars.
Defend the dungeon heart.
Dat weet ik niet.
Wanneer het klaar is.
Ja. Dan zou je eerst naar huis doen en ja, dat weet ik zo net niet.
Oh.
En je weet het wel, je krijgt geen koffie. Oké. Ja, dat vind ik ook niet gek. Denk eens.
This power, it's so incredibly strong.
Moedjes.
Werden ze nou gelijk gaan stemmen? Het valt mij.
Destroy the good.
Ik kan best wel een wapenpotje worden.
What's up?
Ja, heb ik. Ze hebben voor mij Ver zit hier.
It's payday.
Oh, nog even zeggen. Zo. Waar zijn we? Vera die zit waar je moet gaan, helaas.
Who do you want killed?
Ik kan ook voor de
Men,
gaan, ik kan
take a look at this. There's something strange going on here.
A local patrol unhappily stumbled into the area of the Gehenna Stones. They wouldn't leave without a fight, just the way I like it.
Just the way I like it.
Wait a moment, I just said that. Are you trying to steal my lucrative narrator contract? Back off! I know where your car is.
Die andere ramen is ook open.
There are enemies in your dungeon.
Jack is een links, denk ik.
The dungeon heart is being attacked. Why is there a pile of rocks here?
Why are you wearing a mask? Wait a minute. The rock pile? Oh, I'm sure it's nothing important. We should just leave it alone.
Wat zeg? Ja, doe maar wassen. Ja. Nou, nee, ik moet nog eens binnengooien. Ik heb vrijdag gehaald. Dus daar zit het nou in.
dark power fills me. You worm!
Payday.
He's not gonna get up. Gonna get up.
There are enemies in your dungeon. Your dungeon heart is under attack.
Dan moet hij gewoon alleen maar verdedigen, meer niet. Flinke gaap, zei je. Nou, dan hoef ik iets in te gaan.
Met zoveel poen.
Flinke gaap, shit. Yo. En een moe. Zit wel boven. Vlak waar ze net zetten, want dan de ruimte verder zit ze. Dus je kan nou makkelijker door die luik langs als Doe maar. Je kunt hier gewoon naar beneden. Oh, wacht even, wacht even. Nee, Jagger staat hier en Blitz. Nee, Bandit. Huh? Ah,
Heyday!
ik ben dood. Links. Als je doet, ja zie je, dan staan ze heel op te wachten. Lars. Ga je eens rechts naar beneden. Nee, niet dan, niet goed lijkt, niet goed lijkt. Hier gewoon naar beneden. Rechts van je, ja, niet naar beneden. Ja, dan ga je naar rechts. En daar ja, die raam hier. Camera gebruiken denk ik. Of ze hebben het niet gezegd. Ja, de camera staat hier nog hè. Ja, maar als we in deze ronde winnen, dan is het wat je over, hè? Ja, ik weet niet. Nee, Bennett, ze krijgt niet jouw deken, je hoeft niet zo te kijken. Wil ik die wel zeggen, het is lekker warm.
Yeah? The first Gehenna stone is very close. Soon I will destroy it. Tanos will be beside himself. Ha 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 ha!
Apparently, there were a few elemental guardians who were not particularly pleased at someone fooling with the stones. They threateningly turned towards Talia. Of course, the defense-orientated evil would protect her at all costs. There are enemies in your dungeon.
Talia, what are you doing? Why did you turn back to
Ja,
evil?
zeker.
Father, Father, I don't know.
Shit,
I keep trying to turn back to good, but a part of me... God, just shut it, you weakling.
Ze proberen in de
Tanos,
ruimte te komen.
you and your minions always
via
look
het touw
down on me.
naast de
Grimly
hostage.
insulted me without you ever saying a word. You drove me to this.
My child, that is not true. Look inside yourself. There's still a spark of good there. Let it guide you. And not this...
Whoops! Looks like I accidentally
Daar
tripped
via
on
de
a
raam
cable
proberen
or
te komen
something.
en
Unfortunately,
nee.
Tanos could not continue to talk to Talia.
Daar ja.
What a
Zie?
pity. Undeterred, Talia
Echt, er zit
continued to
er altijd
work on breaking the stone seal.
Huh? What? Oh, yes, of course. Ha. Soon the seal will be broken. Hey!
Zou je de camera even in de gaten houden? Ah, zit de camera uit.
It's done! The seal is broken! Oh, what have I done? May the goddess forgive
gewoon
me.
via de rand waar je S zag.
Are you still
En via
here?
de rand
Oh,
ernaast,
come
de
on. Can't you pour your heart out somewhere else?
While Talia was occupied with herself, again, the seal was completely broken. Several portals to a strange world opened in the dungeon. From them, a few extremely committed demons immediately sprang, ready to serve the releasing from exile evil. The Gehenna stones contained a ruthless and mighty magic that not only supplied the dungeon with mana, but was also very dangerous. This posed no problem for the danger-loving evil, as it was far away. Besides, the magic was only supposed to affect the heroes. With the patience of a fox, the insidious evil now waited for a few heroes to test this ruthless and powerful magic on a few unsuspecting guinea pigs at the cost of a little mana.
Hey! Evil will triumph.
The made a wrong turn evil's creatures stood at the edge of the world. They were unable to go any further as our engine couldn't display any bigger maps. Oh, did I just say that? I mean, of course they couldn't go any further because, a cliff and a fallen tree blocked the way. Exactly.
Zo, ben ik weg.
Hey.
Hey, rustig aan, hè. En dan, hoe lang zit hij nou in de binnenkooi? Kijk, we hebben een ping zo te lachen gemaakt.
As with the first stone, a number of guardians came to life to attack Talia. In its wisdom, the foresighted evil had already prepared for this.
Oh nee, dat is het anyway.
Heel even om terugkijken, mensen al terug.
Ja, is goed.
Nee, terugger.
Talia, please, stop doing this. Return to the light. It took me many years, and I had to reload many previous save games before I finally managed to banish all these demons.
Father, I'm trying, but the evil, it's so strong.
Fight it, my child.
Don't forget that this stinker kept you locked up in a place that isn't called the Fatiguing Library for nothing for the last few years, and that his best friend is a dwarf who hates all elves. I know the narrator should normally be neutral and stay out of the story, but this guy's interjections are getting on my nerves when he's hundreds of miles away.
Right. You're not my father. You just took advantage of me.
Ben ik weer.
You claim to be an honest, decent paladin of good.
Ja, mijn
and yet
dreuger was
you
klaar.
allowed me to be mocked and insulted. I'm done with you.
Once Talia had returned to her true nature, she ignored Tanos and turned back to the stones.
This
nog
way,
goed.
hobbits! I mean, evil creatures! Follow me!
Daar zit boven.
Done. The seal is broken.
Talia had conquered another Gehenna stone, this time even without an extended dialogue with her split personality.
Well, actually, I was about to...
Good grief, just shut up. Where were we? Oh yes. Once again a huge jet of mana shot into the sky and a portal opened. Whether it led to the Winchester brothers, Buffies, Charmed or whatever universe, demons ready to kill jumped out. As usual in good games which still have some game time to fill, there was yet a third stone to be conquered. Talia was already on her way.
Auw. Good luck. Virgil zit rechts. Ja, Virgil zit die kant op. Nee. Ze zouden zelf lage levels als ik allemaal op mij lopen stemmen. Ja, van ons team niet. Dat is 1 laag level echt niet. 1 is level 26, 22. Ik kan al zeggen.
There are enemies in your dungeon.
Kijk, ze twee boven. Nou, we zitten boven.
Lead me to the battle!
Ja? De hoofdingang, die heb ik al gevonden.
There are enemies in your dungeon.
Good will fall!
Oh, hier moet ik naartoe.
It's payday. The third Gehenna stone was very close. And a third time, the Guardians rose to prevent Talia from fumbling with the Gehenna stone. Who would have thought?
Talia, I beg you.
What? You again? This chap's appearing for the third time already. What is he? The God's damn spirit of Christmas or something? Just shut up and let us get on with the game.
But
That's enough! She's not coming back to you. Get it? I reckon that after another 15 or 16 missions, she's gonna beat the ever-loving crap
Zet
out
er
of
stil.
you. But My God, you just don't quit, do you? Okay. Talia, your job.
Shut up, Thanos!
Net hoorde ik niks.
Can I say something here?
No.
Hij zit bij de badkamer.
Nou, hoor ik alleen jouw geluid. Ah, dat komt omdat je niks zei. Ja, oké, duidelijk. Ja, dat klopt.
Dat heeft hij.
Enemies have entered the dungeon.
Iemand heeft mijn fuse gehaald.
Ja, maar vallen doen het goed. Hebben ze jouw fuse gehad? Jouw fuse?
Finally,
Niet mijn
the
sledge.
last seal has been broken. Death to all that is good.
Nah.
Power to evil.
Indeed. Talia had conquered another of the Gehenna stones. Mana into the sky,
Dat is een goeie.
demons out of the portal, blah blah blah, and so on. You know the score. Now, only the last of the Gehenna stones had to be taken.
Wait a minute. Did
Yeah,
you
no.
say a total of 3 stones? That was the 3rd stone already.
No, you're wrong about that.
No, I am not wrong. You said every good game has 3
yeah.
goals.
I also said any good game.
True. Not much to say to that. Then it's off to number 4.
Alleen kapkan is nog niet gedekt.
Thanos must die.
Talia, normally all good things come in 3s. But after 4 stones, I will try one last time to bring you to your senses. Please stop what you are doing and return to good. Together we can wipe evil from the face of the earth.
Father, never! I will be the Queen of Evil and destroy all that is good!
These words should make everything crystal clear. Time to take the last stone. Unfortunately, an unsightly rock pile blocked the way to the 4th stone and had to be cleared out of the way. They're really leaving no stone unturned to work in a bit more game time, am I right? Very commendable. This rock heap was tougher than expected and... What the...
Was it you, my children, are all dead? You will pay for that. I will crush you.
Okay, I didn't see that coming. Of course, the anticipating evil had already expected something like this, and plunged into the fight well prepared. I hope. Payday. There are enemies in your dungeon.
Verder. Mijn vlag rechts. Hij zit... Ja, daar lig ik. En dan rechts in de hoek zit hij.
With a menacing crunch, the huge stone monster hit the ground. The stone-hewing evil had triumphed. It debated having a new bathroom built from the remains. Taking the 4th stone was now child's play. So easy, in fact, that we'll just cover it in a short cutscene and spare you all that annoying clicking. All the seals had now been broken, and the demons thirsted to unleash chaos, destruction and folk music upon the world at the ultimate evil's side. Okay, maybe I made that last point up.
Huh?
Grimly
Now,
was
you
still
know.
searching for the Dark Elf and the evil around her. On the other hand, she had asserted herself against her father Tanos and resisted the forces of good. But by the time his spies, much to their horror, found the Gehenna Stones destroyed, the inconspicuous evil's army had already moved on.
Hey.
We zitten nou volgens mij aan de kant van de hoofdingang. Ja. Ja. Kijk, deze kant is de hoofdingang.
The Gehenna Stones. After leaving the vestiges of Tristram, Talia set out for the Gehenna Stones. They served as seals to keep the demons banished in hell, where Tanos himself had exiled them. Her so-called foster father, the Ash Spring Swamplands. While grimly Hammerhand's henchmen were looking for Talia and the Absolute Evil's army, they in turn were slowly marching through the gloom of the Ash Spring Swamplands towards the dwarven town of Steelsmith. This idyllic area provided the unique opportunity to secure additional allies. Undead.
Ja, maar als jullie niet erg vindt, dan ga ik maffen, jongens.
Ja, is goed bezig, ja.
Ja. Zo.